What up guys, so today I'm going to show you how to make a wallet using a boot.
I'll show you how to make a boot from a wallet.
Okay, pause. So, first off, this video is longer than my usual video. So I was kind of curious what you guys thought about that. Go ahead and leave a comment letting me know what you think about the length of the video. And because it's so long, I'm going to be doing a giveaway at the end for those 3 wallets. Okay, cool. Let's go.
Done. This is Weston Kay. He's been my roommate for 4 or 5 years now. We're the bestest of friends. Then
Best
a rainbow
of friends.
comes.
Cannot believe it. It's a freaking double.
Weston makes wallets, hence the video and having him here. He was adamant on calling this like Shmo and the Pro.
Yeah.
Basically what's gonna happen here is Weston's gonna make a wallet using all his tools, blah 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 blah, cool stuff. And I'm gonna try to do stuff that you can find from home, like floss and a boot.
How boot that?
I'm flossing a boot.
Just like throwing all these zingers.
No.
Hey everyone, I'm flossing Weston.
No. Without further ado.
Without further ado.
These are the materials. I have a boot, some floss, a sewing needle that I found at home, a fork,
I don't have a joke for it.
a hammer, a lighter, and then box cutter.
This is what I'm going to use to make my wallet. I'm going to use a piece of shell cordovan. This is the most expensive leather in the world.
It's not that cool.
So it's really cheap. It's tanned in Chicago, Illinois at a company called Horween, world famous tannery. Next I've got a tracing tool. Next my file, a ruler, a mallet, hole punches, my knife.
That's not a knife.
That's a knife.
That's a knife.
Edge beveler, line tool, burnisher, thread, smasher, snippers, edge cutter, call this my smoothing bone,
I'll give you a smoothing bone.
my thigh bone, half round punches. I don't know what you call this.
Are you really gonna use all those?
Yeah,
So
that's it.
I'm feeling very
Underprepared?
Underprepared. So I mean.
So now who's the pro?
So here we go. I guess we'll. Oh, Weston was nice enough to make some.
Yes.
He made some templates. They will be available on my site for free download if you guys want to use the template. So, well, let's do it.
You know, Shmo?
I guess I'll just wait for you to clear your table. The first thing I'm gonna do is cut out leather from the boot. Half my comments are people just like saying,
You're gonna cut your hand off.
you're gonna cut your hand. Maybe like move your hand out of where you're cutting. All right, so once you get the sole away from the boot, you kind of have more leather to work with. You kind of see where you're gonna cut out your pattern.
While Brian's figuring out the boot, I'm gonna cut his template out for him.
Hey,
Like a nice guy.
that's really nice of you. So there's like a bunch of stitching on this. I think if I could like de-stitch it or cut the stitches out, I might have bigger pieces of the leather. I might have bigger pieces of leather to work with. So I'm gonna try to do that. Best thing about making wallets from my shoe is I get to keep my feet stink with me wherever I go.
You should pull your wallet. It's like, what does that smell? Good lord, it's hot under these lights. Take my panties off. Take my panties off.
You've been in a video of mine before, haven't you?
I have no idea. What would it have been? What would it
He
have
was.
been?
Weston's been in a video, the one with my sister.
I swear, if you put any of those bad jokes in, I'm gonna be so
A
embarrassed.
lot of them will make it. So the template, like, it's a 2-piece thing, but I don't really have enough room to fit both those 2 pieces, and so we'll probably turn this into a 3-piece thing, and Weston will help me do that. So I'm gonna scratch it out with my knife, and then
Yeah, that works.
then cut it. So I don't need your dumb scratch all.
Scratch all. So instead of cutting mine out perfectly like I did to Brian's, I'm just gonna leave mine rough cut so that I can take my scratch awl and hit each one of these corners and make a mark, and then later come in with my ruler and then cut it with a perfect straight line with my knife.
Perfect.
With a perfect line, with a perfect straight, with a perfect.
So I got my first guy cut out. So I'm just gonna keep cutting out my template.
Now that I've got my rough shape cut out, I'm gonna use some of these half round punches to do some of the more complex shapes, like this half circle at the bottom of the wallet, because cutting circles and half circles is super hard.
So once I have all my patterns cut out, I'm gonna punch out the holes, or at least mark them, with my needle.
Okay, I need to punch my holes too.
Wait, but what if my fork doesn't line up with these holes? So I'm just a monster. I'm just gonna bite on my fork until it.
Your mother's gonna kill you when she
My
sees this.
dentist is gonna be so pissed. I guess I could use like pliers, but I'm just gonna make the fork match the holes.
Now that I've got my holes marked, I'm gonna use my hole punch and punch out all the stitching holes.
There's gotta be something better than a fork, right? The actual tool.
Yeah.
How much is that tool?
It is, you can get it for pretty cheap on Amazon.
The fork is super hard to punch through. So I'm gonna try to sharpen it with a file. I stole a file from Weston. But I bet I could use like a nail file,
Yeah,
right? You could probably use a nail file to do this part.
or just find a sharper fork.
Or just find a sharper fork, but like, who makes sharp forks? Freaking, I hate the taste of blood in my spaghetti, but this fork is just so nice to have, so sharp. Let's give it Troy on this table.
What kind of guy's gonna... That's it.
Making you nervous?
I'm just afraid it's gonna
Oh,
ricochet to my eyeball.
looky there,
Wow.
it went through. I got mine all finished.
I'm close. I've got to do a few extra steps because I'm going to take this tool and my burnisher and kind of finish the edges beforehand.
While he does that, I'm gonna like clean up my edges a little bit with my old knife.
Okay, now that I've kind of beveled my edges, I'm going to put a little pre-finish on some of the parts, and I'm going to use gum tragacanth. This is a...
Fake name.
It makes it really easy to get a nice finish and shine on the edge. Just like this.
To get like the same effect that Weston's doing with the nice smooth edges, you can use pretty much any hard surface and water.
Thought you were gonna work in a penis joke. Any hard surface. Like my dick. No, quit looking at the camera like it's going in this final cut. It's the schmood and the pood. It's the schmood and the pood.
You got them all cut out, got the holes in. Next step is to sew it. So,
It. So late.
if you're doing the 3-piece, this guy goes on top of this one that doesn't have your hole cut. You flip it, gross. And that goes on top of there. That's gonna be your wallet. Next step, I'm using floss. So as a general rule, you're gonna wanna take 4 times the length of your sewing. So what I'll do is I'll just like trace it once. Oh my gosh. And then just double that over 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll give myself a little more extra. And that's the length. So to stitch out your wallet, you're gonna do something called a saddle stitch, and you need 2 needles for that. And Weston's gonna teach us how to do it.
And this is different from like sewing machine stitching, where with sewing machines, the thread loops on itself. And so if you've ever broken like a stitch on your shirt, if you like pull one thread, the whole thing comes unraveled. With this one, because we're using 2 needles, the thread is independent of itself.
So basically, it's not just gonna unravel if you cut 1 stitch.
Yeah.
So that's what the benefit of saddle stitching is.
And the way that you put your needle on your thread is thread the eye of the needle, and then you're gonna pull your needle down, and then you're gonna take the point of your needle, and you're actually gonna pierce the thread itself about 1 inch back from the end of the thread. And then you're gonna take the little tail of that thread, and you're gonna pull it over the end of the needle, and you're gonna pull it down, and you're gonna take the long end, and you're gonna pull it, and it'll start sinking that up to the eye of the needle, and now your needle is nicely locked with the thread. And then you do the same thing to the other side so that you've got 1 needle on each end of the thread.
Next step is to go start on that top hole and go through from the front. Make sure it goes through all 3 parts. Pull it on through. Then make sure that your needles are even. You have the equal amount of thread on top and bottom. And then with that top needle, you're gonna go down one hole and come down through. And then take that back needle and back thread and come up through that same hole you just went down. And then just keep on doing that. Take the top needle, go through the hole up top, pull it through, then take that back needle, the opposite one you just used, come up through that hole you just went down. Keep on going.
If you're doing the two-piece wallet like me, you stitch all the way down until you get to the corner, and then you fold over the back piece, and you take that thread that's on the back side, the thread and needle, and you feed it through the back side, and then just keep stitching.
So my wall was a little thick, and so I'm not gonna have enough to finish. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna back stitch. Instead of going forward a hole, you're just gonna go backward one hole, and then take your back one and go up through that one you just made. I'm gonna do that at least 2 times, and then cut it off, and then take the lighter to singe it. And that's usually how you end it, but because I'm a dummers, that's where I'm gonna end it there. Then I'm gonna have to start again like I did at the beginning, right here. Let's do that.
Okay, I've got all my stitching done. I've stitched all the way up here, and then I back stitched it 3 times, and then I came up in between the layers of leather, and I'm gonna just cut it pretty close like that. Take the lighter, burn them down just a little bit. I'm gonna take my needle and just push the threads down in there to hide them, and just kind of squish it shut. And now you've got no visible thread ends poking out anywhere, and it should be really secure.
I got mine all done. So just like how I had to end it earlier, when I ran out, just back stitched. Now I'm just gonna cut off and singe it and call it. And all I do to singe it is I just like start it on fire and then I poke with my finger. I'm gonna do the same thing Weston did. I'm just gonna clean up my edges, try to make it look as pretty as his.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Now that I got my edges how I want them, I'm gonna add some gum Tragicant to the edges, let it soak in for a minute, and then take my burnishing tool and just rub it over it until it heats it up enough that you can start to get that shine on it.
Is there anything I can do to get that same effect, but like
Wax,
I don't know, where would I find wax at home?
candles.
Oh. So, got them done, and this is how it works. Look how goofy I was. Oh yeah.
Cute.
I had pink eye that day. Everyone just thought I was like super stoned. But anyways, so you have your main slot here that you're gonna hold for multiple cards. Yeah, it's pretty tight. But the good thing about leather is it's gonna loosen up. And then you have that little tab there that you can push, pull both your cards out to look out and grab the one you want. Then on this side, it's your quick draw, where you put probably the card you use the most. That's not the card I use the most. And then you can use your thumb to push that out. Yeah, again, it's tight, but it's gonna loosen up because it's leather. So, there you have it. Made a wallet from a boot and floss. I think tomorrow, if you're up to it, I'll have you make another one out of this boot using all like the right stuff.
Cool.
So
Do that.
I'll do that and I'll show that in a little voiceover that I do right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Dumb.
So, here are the 2 wallets. Weston made the one on the right. I really like how he left in the stitching, and then also the little logo there in the bottom right. If I were to like do it again, I definitely would buy that hole puncher and the thread. It makes a huge difference, and they're not super expensive, so I did end up hitting the edge with a wax candle. And here's a shot of the side before I waxed them. The wax made a huge difference. But overall, I was pretty stoked on how it turned out. His Cordovan wallet turned out super slick, so I'm a little jealous. I also have all these colorful leathers, and I want to make like an art pouch rollout for you guys, and so leave a comment on what color you guys like the best. And the cool thing about this leather is on the front side has like this white waxy layer that you can scratch away, and it will like rub away the more you use the pouch. So cool. I thought I would test it out and make a little wallet. And so I realized, I don't know, I don't think I went too well over like the saddle stitching part of this. And Weston does have a video, so I'll put a link to that so you guys can learn how to saddle stitch a little bit better, because it makes a world of a difference. So there we go. Finished up that wallet. And I thought it looked pretty cool. So I think I might make some more wallets too for you guys. But for now, doing the giveaway, we have those 3 wallets and a bunch of keychains made out of that rub-away leather, and then one out of the cordovan. And then just a bunch more of those rub-away leather ones. So how you enter the giveaway, just go to my website, www.shmoxd.com. Then if we giveaways, we're gonna enter your name, like so we can be on a first name basis. And then the email, that's how I'm gonna get a hold of you guys. And then your YouTube username. This will help out in future giveaways when I'm doing like comments giveaways, you know? That way I can contact you. So if you guys are new to the channel, or you haven't already, subscribe. And I try to do a video every other week, usually on Thursday, today's Friday. And the next video is gonna be this one, which I'm stoked about. Doing a thing with Drew Scott, Lone Fox. Gonna make some rattan cane weaves. So, stoked.